Well, our next speaker is Dr. Mahmoud Rashidi. He's a neurosurgeon, author, and speaker. He's one of the few neurosurgeons in the world who teaches people how to use their thoughts to heal. And he's the author of the book, Mind Medicine, Use Your Thoughts to Heal. Warm round of applause to Dr. Mahmoud Rashidi.
Do you want to know the secret to happiness, health, and healing?
Yes.
It is available to you all the time, 24 hours a day, and you can use it at any situation. Even in the darkest and weakest hours of your life, you can use it and you turn your life around. I use it, I healed, and I succeed. It was more than 20 years ago. It was December 1997. I was in my first year neurosurgery residency in Toronto, Canada. I noticed I cannot hear from my left ear well. I saw an ear specialist and then had an MRI of my brain. It showed I have a large brain tumor on the left side. It's affecting the hearing nerve, and it's called acoustic neuroma. Suddenly I was patient, and a few days later I was in an operating room. My surgery took a few hours. After surgery, I was in an intensive care unit. The day after surgery, I had a problem with breathing because of the swelling in my mouth and throat. So they have to put a breathing tube back. They couldn't do it in intensive care unit. So they took me back to the operating room, tried to put the open airway from here. We call it tracheostomy. They wasn't able to do it. At that time, my oxygenation was dropping. And they had so much concern that was trying to reach my family overseas. They couldn't reach it because they were concerned I may not survive, or even if I survive, may have a severe brain damage. Eventually, one of my close friends that was chief resident at that time, as a matter of fact, he was able to put a tracheostomy and save my life. Then they took me back to the intensive care unit. At that time, I had multiple tubes. I wasn't able to talk or to eat. At those moments, I felt my life is dependent on the nurses and the doctors. I didn't have any control over anything. I was just lying on a bed. The only things I had control, it was in my mind. I was in hospital for quite a few weeks. And the program director and chairman started talking if I would heal or I would be able to continue my residency and finish my residency. And we're talking if I wanted to do another specialty. But that was their opinion. It wasn't me. I've worked for many years, dreamed and worked hard, go from a small village in Iran to University of Toronto. So for me, there was no way except I heal and succeed. I was so focused on my goals that those obstacles, they wasn't look so much big. And I did recover. I believe if during those time that I was during my healing process, if I had doubt and I lost hope, I'm not sure I was here today. I finished the residency successfully. I finished 1 year of pediatric neurosurgery in sick children in Toronto. I became a pediatric neurosurgeon. I have been practicing over the last 16 years in United States, pediatric, adult, in academic and private centers. I noticed the same phenomena in other patients. The patients, they are positive and happy, they heal faster than the patients who are negative and they are not happy. Even they return to the hospital less. When I start researching it, the more I research, the more I realize how our thoughts are powerful. It has been discussed in a religion book, in a philosophy, in psychology for a long time. And All the great thinkers are agree on this one thing, the power of our thoughts in our life. Peace Pilgrim said, if you realize how powerful your thoughts are, you would never think a negative thought. In recent years, neuroscientists have discovered much more about the brain and health and body and their connection. The mind's belief alter the body physiology and chemistry. And it's through the connection the brain to the body through the nervous system, immune system, and endocrine hormones. Now, we know now that the brain is not hardwired as once thought. Our brain is soft-wired and literally change with our experiences. Your brain is not going to be the same as the brain you arrived this morning when you leave this room. We can change the brain, our brain, in the direction we want with our thoughts and behavior. It's called self-directed neuroplasticity. We are master of our thoughts. We can choose our thoughts. We have thousands of thoughts a day. They call it stream of thoughts, one thought after another. But we can choose the positive one and let go of the negative one. The people, they are thinking positively. They have a stronger immune system. They fight cancer and infection better. It's good for all our health, for the body's health. Not only the positive thinking is good for the body health, as a matter of fact, one of the factors for having healthy brain is positive thinking. I wanted to talk a few minutes about happiness. Dalai Lama says happiness is the highest form of health. Happy people heal faster, no question about it. In a study on patients with a head injury, with the same severity of head injury, the patients, they were happy prior to the head injury, recover faster and better than the patient was depressed prior to head injury. As a matter of fact, happiness is like a preventive medicine. In Harvard happiness study, that it took over the 30 years, they noticed that the individual, they weren't happy. They had more chronic illness and died sooner. The other factor that helped me, I healed, and is very important in health and healing, is hope and optimism. In the same Harvard study, they look at the optimism and pessimism. The researcher found that optimistic individual, they recover faster and they live longer. The pessimistic, they got ill younger, they had a more serious illness and recover slower. A lot of patients, as soon as they hear a diagnosis of a severe illness, they lose their hope and they quit. A lot of patients, they believe what the doctor says about how long they are going to live. And unfortunately, when they believe how long they are going to live, most of the time they live that long. Whatever it said, it's few weeks or a year. I have seen it over and over. I remember myself, I saw a patient 4 years after surgery for a malignant brain tumor. It was kind of surprising to see him because the survival for this kind of patient, we would say around 1 year. I think the reason he was alive because his original tumor was in the right frontal lobe, and this kind of patient, they are mildly confused, but they can do everything else. They usually left. I think he could not understand this concept that he is going to live for a year. And he was still alive. I wanted to tell you another story about how hope helps not only physical health, emotional health, everything. Dr. Wayne Dyer telling a story in one of his books about his depression. He said at age of 65, after many years teaching in counseling psychology and spirituality, he got depressed after a marriage problem when his wife left him. He said, I was depressed for 6 months and had a difficulty to come out of the bed. And he said how one of the letters from his friend helped him. He recovered. He said, I received a letter, opened the letter, and there was only one sentence in this letter. It said, Dear Wayne, remember, the sun is still shining behind the clouds. Dr. Dyer recovered, and after this depression, he wrote the book, The Power of Intention. As a matter of fact, it's one of his best books. The secret is your thoughts, and specifically positive thoughts. In conclusion, I wanted to finish my talk with 2 quotes. And these 2 quotes summarize my message very well. One of them is from Napoleon Hill, the author of the Think and Grow Rich. Once he said that Creator gave us control over one thing, ability to control one thing, not 2 things, one thing, and that's our mind. Unfortunately, a lot of people, they don't use that control, but anyway, we have that control. The second quote I wanted to say is from Norman Vincent Peale. He said, after believing in God, the most important things that I have learned during my lifetime, and I wished I learned it earlier, is this. Positive thoughts bring positive results, and negative thoughts bring negative results. Thank you.
Mahmoud did an excellent job, and what he talked about really resonated with me. I mean, I've been spending my whole life trying to accomplish what I believe. So you really do have to focus on your thoughts. And once you really have it nailed down in your brain, then you can go about making it happen in reality. So power in positive thinking. I mean, excellent job, Mahmoud.
I just heard Dr. Mahmoud's speech. The power of positive thoughts and how it changes your brain. I am very moved by that because this is something that everybody can learn from. And if you constantly think these positive thoughts, your life's going to change. Something good will happen.